Ladies and gentlemen, it's time. New Media Radio Hour with host Ray Ybarra.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the program today. You're watching my Conversations with Shark Tank winners multimedia book coming up in Q1 of this year. And my special guest, who's one half of Cousins Maine Lobster, Jim Tselikis. What's going on, man?
How are you? I'm the better half.
The better looking, right?
Better looking, yeah. It's up for debate, but it's all over now.
Hey, I finally got you, man. You are a busy guy, man. So how are things going with the business?
Yeah, things are going really well. We couldn't be happier. We are running all over the place, that's for sure. We've taken on a lot in a short amount of time, but a lot of challenges to kind of overcome, and it's exciting the whole way through.
Yeah, since you guys went on Shark Tank now, what has the spike been like, and how has business increased since you went on the show?
Yeah, it's been crazy. I mean, we went on October 19th, our original air date, and that was really focused on the truck, and the sales for the truck and the restaurant that we have spiked, obviously for the next few weeks, and it continues to get, every time people come in, they say, oh, you guys are on Shark Tank, and they really, it registers with them that they make that connection, and it's very helpful for sales.
Yeah, and I'm sure that not only for sales, though, but you guys have become celebrities, too. Everybody notices you, and what kind of publicity and exposure has that, what has that done for you?
Yeah, I mean, celebrity, I don't know. Saban likes to think so. No, it's been phenomenal because, yeah, you're right. Beyond sales, it does allow you a lot of exposure and opportunities that we otherwise would not have had. I mean, we went on Good Morning America with our lobster products that we send out of Maine to customers' doors, and that alone is a huge success story for us. All wouldn't have been possible without Barbara and the Shark Tank exposure.
Now, what your specialty is, we had Jim in here. He says that you do all of the ordering. That is a product. That is an incredible task. What is involved with that?
Yeah, it's quite the process. Between the truck we have now and our restaurant in Pasadena, I mean, it's every day trying to get together and understanding the inventory that you need for the fresh lobster, the crab, the shrimp, the lobster tails, the rolls, which we fly in from Maine because of those specific split top style buns that you can't find out here. So we bring everything from Maine, and it's important that you don't run out of food, obviously, but it's also important that you don't have too much food because you don't want it hanging around. You want the freshness to be served that day that it comes in. So it's all about trying to understand how many people are coming to the restaurant, what type of events we have coming in the weeks to come at the truck, and then how to understand what you're ordering from Maine.
So it's a lot of pre-planning in your head then, that you got to be specific and make sure that, like you were talking about before we went on air, there's a big storm back east.
Right.
So you have to prepare for things like any and all things that come up in advance to make sure that you don't run out of that product. Otherwise, you probably have to go to a Red Lobster at midnight and steal from them, right?
No, we're not going to do that. But no, you're right. I mean, there's 20 to 30 inches going on right now in Maine of snow, and not everyone out here understands that when we're sitting under the sun. But yeah, so UPS is grounded, so we need to plan a day in ahead, or know the storm's coming and see how much meat we're going to need for the coming day or two when the planes can't get out. So it is always thinking about east and west.
We got some questions from online here I want to ask you.
Sure.
Here. What skills do you personally have that are going to make your business even more successful?
I think what Saban and I complement each other very well. But my personal skills are, I come from a sales background. Of finding opportunity. I was in medical devices before, working with hospitals and in the operating rooms. So it's really the opportunities that you can uncover here in terms of events and new locations to get the truck to, so that it can increase sales from that specifically. But Saban and I are both really personable, outgoing guys that have that kind of Maine feel. We're down to earth and humble, and we love to meet people and talk and engage, and through that whole network, and connections that you can make, it really allows for the growth opportunity for the business.
Speaking of engagement here, we have the man behind Pack Stereo TV, the man with a plan, the social media guru, Mario Hemsley. What's going on, man?
I'm just loving this. It's a chance to see the other side. We enjoyed having Saban.
Yeah,
here's so much, and it's the fact that these guys are hip, obviously hardworking, right? and have managed to take the whole family thing, and then come, it's a cultural shock, right? Coming from, I got to assume that it's somewhat of a cultural shock.
Yeah, for me.
You coming out here, and but you seem to have adapted well.
Yeah, I'm doing my best. I mean, it's a change. I mean, Saban's been out here for 4 or 5 years. I literally just landed a week ago, and I'm I get my own place and try to adapt to everything going on here. But you can't complain with the weather, and the opportunity out here it's wonderful, and the people have been great. So it's been
I know
fun.
Californians, especially in Los Angeles, embrace high-end quality products. The burger thing has been a big deal out here with just the gourmet burgers, right? So this whole thing that you're bringing with the sandwich, such a high-end sandwich, and from what I'm hearing and looking, and the track and the truck, wow.
Yeah.
Well, it is. I mean, look, lobster is a major delicacy, and it's expensive, and people know that. And it's the one thing we have battled a little bit out here is that people don't understand why you're paying $12.50 for a lobster roll. But back home in Maine, right on the water where I grew up, I was there this summer, and it's $17 for a lobster roll. In Boston, it's $22 to $28. So we're doing it, we're flying it, we're shipping it, and we're doing it cheaper than it is on the East Coast. But there is the East Coasters out here, the transplants get it, they love it. They're like, hey, this is less than back home, but it reminds us of back home, or it's better than back in Maine or New England. So it's been well received. And
well, Jim, I always remind people too that Starbucks got us used to spending $4 for a cup of coffee, right?
Yeah,
that's right.
Right, and you don't bitch at all, right? You know what you want, and it's actually
I was there this morning.
A luxury you feel to have the good stuff sometime, right?
Yeah, of course.
Oh,
and,
there you go.
Look, it may not be something you eat every day, but when you do, it's worth every penny. I promise you that.
Now, you had mentioned tracking the truck earlier. I think we have a photo here of your truck, and while we're looking that up here, you extensively use Facebook and social media, Twitter, to let people know where you're at now. How has that translated into sales for you guys?
Sure. It's been amazing. I mean, social media now is so important to businesses, but between Twitter and Facebook and Instagram and Pinterest, I mean, Yelp, everything we do, we engage. We have people that work with us and as part of our team that are constantly interacting. Saban and I always do. We include personal shots of our family when we were growing up, the cousins, everyone back in Maine together, things here to kind of make that real family feel with loyal customers or new customers, because that's how we operate our employees and our business, and we want to do that with customers.
Now, we have a couple of photos there online here, tracking the truck. That's a really great looking truck that you have, and you can see that there's people there waiting in line to get their wonderful, delicious Maine lobster, man.
Right.
So, are you on the truck during the day, or is Saban? How does that work?
In fact, that good-looking guy with the pink shoes.
Oh no,
right there, that's me.
Hey, Saban said that was him last time.
Yeah. No, well, Saban tries to take credit for that, but no, we go on the truck as much as we can. There's, I was on it last night in San Pedro. We're going to be there tomorrow at an event we do in Redlands. But as part of growing it, too, you're also out looking for other opportunities and other places and events to get to. With the thing at the restaurant, we're there, too. So we do move around, just like the truck does, but we try to get on there as much because it is important to have that interaction.
So how much time do you spend on the truck versus your restaurant, or is it split equally? When one's over there, is another one at the restaurant? How does that work?
We'll sometimes do one and one, Saban here and I'm on the other. But oftentimes the truck is really what we started with. It's our bread and butter. So we try to get there as much as possible.
The restaurant. Oh gosh, I can't wait to all. We're gonna all get over here and go to the restaurant here soon, because it's a hot spot and that's a beautiful looking restaurant here. Did you guys design that restaurant yourself, or did you have somebody else help you with that?
What it was is we basically joined with a lounge, Live Mix, and they operated in the evenings, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday.
Okay.
But they weren't serving lunch or dinner. So we basically took over the kitchen and the tables. We brought in. There's been updates since. We brought in our own tables, our big chalkboard, and tried to make a little bit of a Maine theme. So for everybody listening, it's certainly a little bit of a fusion.
Yeah.
But where we're going to get to someday is that Maine lobster shack feel, the real small, tight quarters with the lobster pots and traps.
Oh man!
And make it that kind of at-home feel.
A little bit of Maine and Pasadena.
That's right.
Oh God, that's fantastic. Okay, a question here is, what do your sales numbers look like? I guess that's a two-part question, because when you went on the show, we talked about how it's spiked and everything.
Sure.
How, if you can give a percentage, has that grown since you've been on the show?
it's hard to say how it's grown for the course of the year because we were only on a month and a half ago or so. Yeah. But there's a couple ways I can answer that. I mean, when we were on the show, we said we had done $150,000 in sales over the course of 2 months.
Right.
In the summertime, we were very new to the scene, but we can have months from $70,000 to $85,000 of sales on the truck. The restaurant obviously got a big spike from the day we aired on Shark Tank as well, and as did the truck. And it's not as long lasting, you know. It's kind of a big spike at that moment, but we had a follow up on Shark Tank last Friday, and I can tell, you know, on the online store, you know, we've done a tremendous amount of sales. I mean, we've done about 1,000 customers, 1,000 units of sales in the matter of 4 or 5 days, which is tremendous.
Yeah,
so,
that's huge. That's a lot, man.
Yeah, it certainly helps, and it's it all goes back into the business right now, but that's part of growing and starting it. So,
okay. Well, how much of your own finances and resources did you invest in your business before you took on your partners here? Was it significant? How did that work for an entrepreneur watching who might want to start a business?
Yeah, no, I mean, it's, you know, when the truck began, you know, you're right. We had no reputation and no backing. So that was all our money that we had been fortunate to save. But yes, to start the truck, it was about $20,000 up front. That's obviously not the cost of the truck. It's far more, but you work out some sort of loans.
Sure.
You know, that was from the aspect of the truck, but everything else, I mean, yeah, it adds up quickly.
I just want entrepreneurs that are going to be watching this to know what the risk factors are, the risk assessments. What was that ratio? We want to get down to some kind of a figure here. 80%, 20%. What was it in your estimation here? That you know, you want to start a business. What kind of feasible risks should you take?
Very good question. I mean, the beauty of the truck was that we could go to the market rather than having to start with a brick and mortar and have people know and learn about you. And, you know, you could go out to festivals and places that you know you could find a customer base. So your real risk in the truck is that down payment, you know, your deposit to get it up and running and to get the build process going, and then you can get a loan for the rest of it. Excuse me. But thereafter, you know, it is. You look at the risk of the truck. Well, if things don't work out at all, you have that you can then go, you know, liquidize, and you can sell a truck. You might not get it all back, but it's not like sign up for a 3 to 5 year lease for a brick and mortar,
right,
where you're into it. So those are some risks that I, you know, mentioned to other people thinking about it.
Doc, anything you want to add to that?
You know, I was thinking about the whole idea of having that connection on the East Coast and maintaining that relationship. Because that's actually, that's where you all grew up.
Right.
You know, so how is that working with maintaining that? You obviously have some very reliable people.
We do.
Was that a stress item with the growth? I mean, to come out here, especially now that you say you're out here now, right?
Right, I'm out here.
So, Jim, somebody's back there, right?
We got an unbelievable crew back there with our suppliers and the guys we have working for us. But it is critical. I mean, without it, we can't sell at the prices that we have, because, you know, our relationships that we have with those guys that we grew up around, that you're in wholeheartedly with the Mainers, that the loyalty there, selling Maine guys, selling to other Maine guys is tremendous. And it allows you to sell at the price we do now, but it also allows me to feel comfortable leaving Maine and living out here and knowing that a lot of it's in their hands. But they're tremendous, and it's a necessity.
Well, everybody, take a look, too, here. We'll show you some things from the site online. Here's the Order Now page. Wonderful website, everybody. Got to go take a look. Okay, everybody. It's cousinsmainelobster.com. Makes sense.
That's right.
Don't make it work too hard.
Yeah, we kept it simple.
Yeah.
But you can go there and look at this. Full meals, live lobster, lobster tails, appetizers, entrees. Check it out. You can go take a look at the restaurant. We showed you some of that. You can track the truck. Okay? You can take a look at the catering. And check this out. I know Ray had this on his mind. Here's the VIP photo section.
Yeah, man.
This is what happens when you do hot lobster, right?
Right. Hot lobster here in Southern California.
That's
now,
right.
The celebrity factor here has got to like really wow you, man.
It does.
Were you surprised as to how many celebrities, or did you anticipate this in your plan?
No, you know what? Like back in Maine, when I was living in Boston for a little bit after Maine, you know, you see athletes running around town.
Yeah.
But you don't see the celebrities like you do here, and it just seems like it's so frequent. You know, and it's wonderful. They've been very receptive to everything. They take pictures with us, and they kind of help promote it. So it's definitely been good for the building process as well.
Now, I wanted to ask you this about Barbara. What do you think she saw in you guys to want to secure a deal with you? Because it seemed like she really took to both of you when you were presenting on Shark Tank. What do you think it was that she tapped into?
You know, we've had conversations since, like kind of, you know, what was going on in your mind. I mean, she was up at my house in Maine, you know, sitting there with my folks. And my mom asked her that question.
Okay.
So you get the real answer.
Well, we have to interview Mom then.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I'm curious.
She'll come out here for vacation. But no, Barbara really said, hey, you know what? It's not even so much the idea. I mean, of course it is. It needs to make sense. But a lot of it is just sitting there looking at the entrepreneurs in the beginning when you're standing on the set. You know, what's their body language? Is it their confidence level? How much do they know the answers and know their business? Are they completely into it? And then ultimately, what type of the women or men are they? Are they go-getters? Can she tell what's her gut? You know, I mean, this is how people, what she does. You know, you read people, you get that judgment.
Yeah.
And she just thought that we were hustlers and we were going to make whatever you put on our plate happen.
I mean, you went on there. This was so different because I don't know if this was calculated on your part. It probably was because both of you guys are really sharp. But you went on there with shorts and sandals, man. and you guys just came across as like these two really young, hip entrepreneurs who are rock solid. Very unassuming, but very confident, man. Yeah. That was really cool.
Bringing that energy.
Yeah, well, that certainly was part of the game plan. Saban and I certainly did endless amounts of research on the show, what type of questions you're going to get, which obviously anyone should do if they're going on something like that. But beyond that, the practicing, the distracting each other while one's trying to talk so that, you know, so you don't kind of freeze up there. But it was very important to us to have that confidence, not be egotistical, but be confident in what we're talking about and to also kind of have that down to earth.
And how much preparation then is enough preparation before you over-prepare?
You know, I think we did about a month of work, you know, solid each day of the back and forth, the what our script was going to be, but then how we were going to answer every question that gets sent our way. And then you're right, there is a point where you can over-prepare and psych yourself out, so we didn't want to do that either.
Right, right. But it seemed like Saban was saying that you guys actually went and watched all the episodes and studied the questions.
Just like an attorney, isn't it?
Yeah.
I consider myself a
lot smarter than attorneys, though, man. But you did that kind of preparation, so when the Sharks were asking you questions, and this is a very important point for all you entrepreneurs that are watching this now or going to be watching it, is preparation and know exactly who you're getting in business with or who you want to get in business with, because how important was that?
Oh, it's crucial. I mean, you're right in terms of prep. I mean, you need to know everything. We knew every question was going to come our way, or so we thought. Obviously, some caught us off guard, but if you know your business well enough, then you know how to answer those. As far as who you're going to get into business with, I had my target, and Save did as well. And by the time we got there, it was definitely Barbara, because we had done our research on her, and we knew that she worked with other food groups, and we contacted them as best we could. We saw their success. And so we knew she was into that. We knew her marketing sense and her ability for contacts that can help online sales, that can help local stuff with the truck or the restaurant. So she's been amazing, and that was definitely our, you know, thank God it all worked out.
Do you think she knew that when she went into business with you, that you did all that research about her, or did she ask you that?
If she didn't know it then, she knows it now, since having spoken with her obviously since about all this stuff. But I think she certainly has an interest in some foods because she's done it for years now with other groups. She knows what sites to get them on, what shows to get them on, and how that can really help business and therefore help her put some more money in her pocket. Not that she needs it.
So what advice would you give entrepreneurs who say want to get involved in doing business with such a high-profile entrepreneur like Barbara Corcoran or maybe Damon John? What advice would you give to somebody who wants to strike a deal? What things do they need to look for?
Right. I mean, I think in my mind,
See, that's the truck page in you right now. They're tracking the truck here,
I think that's me. I'm not that popular. No, it's not me.
I take my friends live on the
Oh, yeah.
That's why I don't say.
But that might be Barbara. You need to answer that.
I gotta go.
Hey, that would be cool.
No, I think, you know what, in the beginning you could be a little intimidated by what you perceive their power or their financial worth to be. But, man, she's so down to earth and personable. And that's what you need to really look at for a long term. You know, and the other thing you need to take into account is, hey, if you have another partner, you're not the only one making the decisions anymore. You know, it's not just myself and Sabin. Given she never forces anything on us, but you never know. Once you add someone else to the mix, that's totally changing the dynamic of how your company's run, who's got decision-making power, and so forth.
Do you guys have 50-50 decision-making power, or is there certain specific duties that you do where you have total power over those decisions?
Between Sabin and I?
Yeah.
You know what? We've never really butt heads with any of that. When we have opinions that differ, we kind of just talk them out, and we say, hey, you know, this is my thought and this is yours, and then we come to a conclusion thereafter, and we kind of try to see each other's sides. But we took this major personality test and behavior test before we kind of really started this business, so we knew where our strengths were, where we'd butt heads, where we'd you know, need to sit down and have a serious conversation about certain topics.
I thought that was very smart that you did take that test, and how that test originated. Sabin was talking to us about that, because most people, even when they get into a serious relationship or they get married, they don't even go through that.
Right.
And you guys went ahead and did that, which is that's pre-preparation. Saying, maybe, do you think that you, if after that test, hypothetically say this, Jim, that if you, after you took that test, if you found that there was a huge difference, do you think that would have perhaps altered your business relationship?
I think there's definitely the potential for it. I still think we would have gone forth with the idea, but it might have presented more obstacles. There were certainly places where, you know, I was high, he was low, and vice versa on certain in certain areas. You know, I had more, you know, endurance. He would be more.
Like, who was better looking, right?
Well, that's no question. I wasn't even on the test.
Okay,
but you know, growing up as cousins, you wonder, you know, going back to your childhood, you kind of had, I mean, and you guys were the kind of cousins that were together, right?
Yeah.
On family outings. So you kind of had a different kind of a depth of field.
Oh, yeah. It's crazy. I mean, I was 3 years younger. I mean, at that age, he was always beating up on me. Chasing
after you, man.
Throwing basketballs at me, throwing me in the pool. But now it's different. Now I'm fit. He hasn't worked out in 16 years. So, no, but look, I mean, people always say don't do business with family, you know, for the most part, or, you know, close friends, which is a valid point, but we've been able to make it work, and we complement each other in a lot of ways, so we're excited.
So what came first then in your business? Was it the patent that came first, or the product idea, or what? Give me the process
to kind of start the whole process.
Yeah, for entrepreneurs watching, or those may be interested in, how did that? What was that process like?
I visited California 2 years ago or so, and I kind of had this amazing time with Sabe, and we're like, well, I went back to Boston, like, well, what can we do together, you know? And it was really, let's find a way to work together. And at the time, the thing that we had in common was Maine and Maine lobster, and we were always privy to it. And then when I was out in California, Sabe was showing me this food truck world, and it was nothing like back east, and it was exploding. So we figured we combined the two best things going: Maine lobster and the food truck industry. So then it was just a matter of, do you really want to do this? And through a couple weeks of thinking, once we gave the green light to each other, it is that whole process of thinking about logos and patents and trademarks and LLCs, you know, which is the big headache. But once you're through that, then it's the fun and the exciting part of getting it going.
How much time from the patent, the logo, the getting your corporation? That's what I'm interested in. How much time did it take?
From the day that we said we wanted to do it, it was 14 months until we launched. So it's you know, a little more than a year. But the patenting and the LLC and all that approval, the trademarks, that was probably a good 3 to 4 month period of that.
Did you use actual lawyers for that, or did you do a lot of that yourself?
Some of the stuff we just did online, but it's the whole approval and waiting process. We do obviously have lawyers now that work on things and have been for a while, but not in the very beginning.
Okay. So there's a statement and a question here. How does your business, how scalable is it? Have you thought about what's going to be involved to take your product or service all the way to the top? Whatever that top is, what is that top for you guys?
Yeah, it's a wonderful question, actually, and it's the scalability of it is, you know, we had basically we had our business dissected by Columbia University, and it came back as very high on franchising world, and we've had an immense amount of requests for franchising the truck. So yeah, our dream and what the top of that is someday is to have more trucks all over, but we want to make sure that we're doing it correctly here first, and we have that real template to take it elsewhere.
So you mean all over? You're talking like the major cities in the United States?
I mean, trucks are obviously a little different. It needs to be in a climate that makes sense. It needs to be in an area where there's an emerging food truck market or one that's already established. But the brick and mortars can happen. The small little lobster shacks can happen in many more areas. So yeah, our goal is to expand the truck fleet, the brick and mortar world. And when people think lobster, wherever they may be, they think Cousins Maine Lobster. And if there's a truck or a brick and mortar, they can go there. And if not, then they know that they can order it online and have it sent to their door.
So when was the last time you had a true day off or a weekend off?
Good question.
Vic, I know Vic back there was talking about no days off for a long time, man.
What's that?
None, man.
It's different. It's certainly different than what we did before, but you're excited because it's your own little baby and you're making it happen. But don't get me wrong, there's obviously times that we go out and we'll grab a bite or a couple drinks and try to enjoy it too. I'm not going to sit here and cry about having to work a little bit more, but we try to. It's important to have a little bit of a life, whether it's going for a workout or grabbing a drink, to appreciate what's going on.
Yeah. Doc, anything else you want to add on it?
I really want to take this moment to welcome you to Los Angeles. It's a big transition from Boston.
Thank you. You got a present for me?
After the show.
What the hell is this?
Yeah, man, because, and officially, especially after looking at this, to welcome a masshole.
A masshole. So my sister had some influence on that. You can tell that's the endearing sister saying, yeah, you left Maine and you became a masshole.
Got a question for you here. Are you willing to send production maybe one day offshore, whatever that production is? I know Mr. Wonderful is always talking about sending it over to sea somewhere. What is your plan for that? Are you ever going to do that? Have you considered that?
We have. We looked into the entire idea of wholesale, which we currently do in a smaller sense. But to do that, to send lobsters, whatever type of product may be, across seas. Even the supply of restaurants. We've had a lot of restaurants call us, some high-scale places, that say, "Hey, your product's phenomenal. Let's get our hands on that." So we're working on that as well. As you can see, there's a bunch of different avenues that this business can go.
Sure.
But certainly that's definitely one of them. Whether it's restaurants or offshore that you're shipping to, it's something we have interest in and can and will be doing.
So how did you define what your target market was for your product then and the lunch truck?
Well, the way we looked at it was, it was an idea. We didn't know if it would fly, but everyone seems to love Maine lobster, and it didn't seem to be accessible here. So we said, let's provide it and see how it's received, and it's just exploded. So then that in that sense, people are asking us, well, let's get another truck here, let's get a brick and mortar here. And that was in like month 1 and 2. We just started with one truck,
right?
And so that's why we ended up doing the online thing, because if people wanted it in Southern California, they should probably want it everywhere, and let's provide it to them. So, excuse me, we have a second truck coming, and we're listening to people's requests. And
wow!
All right.
It should be in about 2 months, and
okay.
So we'll be able to get to more places.
So double Cousins Maine Lobster here in Los Angeles,
right.
then, right?
Right.
Wow, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
So, excuse me, you always hear about knowing what your competition is, what your competition's doing. How many competitors do you have?
Currently in the food truck world, there are 2 other trucks that will do lobster.
Mm-hmm. But yours is the best, right?
I think mine's the best.
Yeah.
Yeah. Listen, it's a good story, but beyond that, it's genuine and it's real. We're both from Maine. We grew up there. You can't fake it.
You're both cousins.
We're both cousins, but I was just in Maine for 6 weeks with my family working in our facility in Maine. You can't get any closer to the source where I work with. I'm working with live lobsters every day back there, and I'm watching them. I know that they're getting cooked and picked and sent that day to us. So you literally can't get any more dialed into the source unless you're a lobsterman, I suppose, in Maine.
Well, let's talk about this mysterious warehouse back east that you guys have. Now, tell us about what this warehouse is like, how big it is,
Yep.
how many people you employ, what's going on with it?
That is it's about a 5,000 square foot place that we have, and wow. we're employed between 15 to 45 people depending on the seasons. In October, November, December, it's crazy. We got 45, 50 people running through there. It obviously is down like any other seasonal business, but Yeah, it's where we have all of our product, our lobster mac and cheese, our lobster pot pie, our lobster tails, live lobsters, you name it, the lobster bisque, clam chowder, everything you see on the website, that's where it is. So when you order something, it gets packed that day, it gets sent out, and it's to you the next day, or whatever day you specify. We have a lot of Valentine's Day orders coming up from the guys that are trying to please their girlfriends and wives, you know?
The palate there, getting the palate.
I'm not going to order anything, though.
So you're not only providing a great service for people that love seafood, lobster, but I'm sure the local business community is ecstatic over how that's benefited them. How long have you had this relationship with your locals there? You must have had a solid relationship coming in before, or have known these people before.
Right. I mean, my sister works for the Maine Lobstermen Association. She's been dialed in for, 5 years. But our suppliers who we work so closely with that are amazing, I mean, for years with these guys. And it is really important to the Maine economy and industry. I mean, that's what Maine is. It's tourism and it's lobster. And to have, when we went home, we did the Shark Tank thing. We had a big party there. We had the, the governor's been involved. I mean, everyone from local news, programs and newspapers had us all over. So it was nice, but it's even better to know that the Maine lobster industry is all privately owned family businesses, and that's what we are. And we're supporting it. We use the name in our title. Obviously, it's very important to say that we have Maine product and that we are Maine in California. And now kind of nationwide with our website.
So how far in advance then, and how important is it for you as a business owner, entrepreneur, visionary, to look into the future and calculate the future into the present for what you're doing? How important is that?
In terms of what we're doing next?
Yes. What we're doing next, what you're doing now that's going to affect the future of where you want to go, and where do you want to go with this company?
Yeah, I mean, it's a wonderful question. I mean, we definitely want to expand our fleet of trucks. But as I said, we want to make sure that we're doing it properly and that we're not... A lot of things come our way, and you can't say yes to everything, and there are certain things that you do, and maybe it's not the best decision, but you learn from. What we do know is that our trucks are amazing. The product is just a 10. It's off the charts. We never worry about the product. People love it, but it's the idea of make sure the customer service is correct and that the food coming out the window is the right time. It's being served properly, so people are continuing to enjoy. And once we have that, we're just going to continue to expand our fleet of trucks. Like I said, the brick and mortars are really important to us because they provide an established place that people always know they can go to. And so we want to continue to grow that way. So in terms of present versus future, I mean, doing things right now and thinking about where we want to be in the future, it's obviously all calculated as to kind of how we go about this process, and we're not just happy with what we're doing now. We want to. It's really getting out and providing more people with the accessibility to it.
Yeah. Anything?
Just want to remind everybody to check out www.cousinsmainelobster.com, where you can get all the info, the restaurant, the VIP photos. You can track the truck. They got the apps. They got they're totally dialed in with the social media. So go take advantage of that. Wonderful, wonderful layout at the website. And also to remind people that this video will be available tonight on YouTube. You'll be able to watch it again so you can find out more and get that taste in your mouth.
And
lobster. Yeah. I don't get it. Are you going to be able to watch the YouTube video and taste the lobster?
I don't know, man, but I know one thing. You look at the pictures, like I said.
Yeah, man.
It'll make you want some. Man, that lobster mac and cheese.
No, that's it right there, man. Well, listen, this has been a fantastic time with you. I know that you're a busy guy. Well, we've been trying to flag you down for a long time, beginning to wonder if you were for real or not, But I want to thank you for taking time out of your schedule.
Thank you very much, Ray. I appreciate it. This is a blast.
And we got to hang out and come and see you at your restaurant one of these days. I'd love to come over and
I'm going to upcharge you.
Oh, no. Ladies and gentlemen, you have been watching the New Media Radio Hour presented here at PAX Stereo TV. Mario Hemsley, great job as usual, the man behind PAX. And my man back there, Vic.
What's up, man?
Hey, man, great job. Once again, this is we've been with Jim Tselikis, one half of Cousins Made Lobster. My multimedia book, Conversations with Shark Tank Winners, will be out at the end of Q1 featuring all these great entrepreneurs. Multimedia is something for everybody. Video, audio, really great pictures, tips, and advice from the entrepreneurs. So for the price of a venti mocha and a donut, man, you're going to get you're going to get some of the best information on how to thrive like these successful entrepreneurs have. Have a great time, ladies and gentlemen. A great week. Thank you for joining us. Thanks a lot, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Jim.
Appreciate it, Ray.
Yeah.